Welcome to my journey through the Bible. This will be a summary of Genesis 31 through 43. And when Rachel saw that she could no longer have children, she ran to Jacob and said, "Give me children lest I die." And Jacob became angry and he said, "I am not God. I did not close up your womb. I cannot control whether you have children or not." So Rachel gave her handmaiden Bilhah to Jacob, and she went in and conceived. She had a son named Dan, and Rachel said, "God has judged me. He has heard my voice, and he has given me a son." Now Bilhah had conceived another son named Naphtali, and Rachel said, "I have wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed." Now Leah noticed that she had stopped having children as well, so she gave her handmaiden to Jacob. And Zebah had a son named Gad. And Leah said, "A troop cometh." Then Zebah had another son named Asher. And Leah said, "Happy am I, the daughters will call me blessed." Now Reuben, Leah's son, had went out and found some manbark, which is a herb that's supposed to help you conceive children. So he brought it home and gave it to his mother. And as soon as Rachel saw it, Rachel said, "Leah, give me the manbark so that I may conceive." And Rachel said, "I will let you sleep with Jacob tonight." So as soon as Jacob came home, Leah ran out to him and said, "You get to stay with me tonight because I have bought you with manbark." So God remembered Leah and gave her another son named Asgar. And Leah said, "God has given me an heir." Now Leah had another son, and his name was Zebulun, and she said, "God has given me a good dowry." And then Leah had a daughter. But God remembered Rachel as well, and he allowed her to conceive a son named Joseph. And Rachel said, "God has taken away my reproach." Now, after some time, Jacob went to his uncle Laban and said, "Send me away with my wife and my children to a new land." But Laban said, "But I have been blessed. God has blessed me and has multiplied my sheep. I started off with very few, and then I've multiplied to very many because you have been with me." Jacob said, "But I have nothing to give you except for my wife and my children." And his uncle said, "But name your price." Jacob says, "Well, then I will work for you as long as you give me the cattle and the sheep and the donkeys that are brown, freckled, or ring-tailed." And his uncle agreed to this. Laban said that would be good, and he spent 3 days separating the sheep not just sheep, but all the cattle according to. So Jacob would take a green poller, hazel green, chestnut, and put it into a rod that had white stake. And he laid this rod in front of the different cattle that came to conceive when they came by the watering hole. And when they looked at this, when they gave birth, the ones that came out seemed to be brown, speckled-tailed, or ringed-tailed. And so Jacob used the strong ones that he conceived and separated those, and the ones that were weak and feeble, he moved the rod so that they would be a solid color, or what you would consider a purebred. And that is what was Laban's state livestock. So Jacob increased greatly in his cattle and in his maidservant, manservant, camel, and donkeys. May God be with you in every way and in everything.